is what democracy looks like.
Show me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
It reminds me of the saying back in the, I think it was the Jimmy Carter years, where they used to say, it's the economy, stupid. Well, White House, it's the Constitution, stupid. It's not us as American people or the Constitution that's stupid. It's their failure to read it, because it's so plain and simple. It says there will all be citizens of the United States. It doesn't say, but only if you're white or only if you're brown or only. It doesn't say anything. It says everyone born here is a U.S. citizen.
I want to tell you that there's a couple of things going on in this building today. First of all, they are challenging the ability of federal judges to issue nationwide injunctions. And like I said, when a bill like this came to our committee, like I said on the floor, if you don't like all the nationwide injunctions that have been issued against the Trump administration, then stop doing illegal, unconstitutional stuff. It's that simple, and it's really important, because this is the way they are trying to get around all of their illegal actions, is to say that federal judges don't have the ability to stop these things if they issue an executive order. And just imagine what that means in the case of birthright citizenship. It means that if you just limited a temporary restraining order, an injunction from a judge to a few states, that means you would have chaos. You would have people in some states who are born here for whom they get birthright citizenship, a constitutional right, and then you would have other states where that is not possible. This is the path the Trump administration is trying to take on every single illegal, unconstitutional thing. So it's really important to remember that that is one of the main things they're discussing in here. The second, of course, is birthright citizenship. There are some places in the Constitution that are somewhat unclear, and judges have to interpret it. The 14th Amendment and the right to birthright citizenship is not one of those. It is absolutely, totally clear that if you are in the United States, you are a U.S. citizen.
We are not going anywhere. We will not be erased. We are not invisible, and we are not afraid to say we are not asking for anyone's permission to exist.
What is the image of God? Every single human being. We are all created in her image and likeness, no exceptions. No matter where we or our parents were born, or the words on our identification documents, no exceptions. This means that every person has inherent dignity and worth, and no one, not a dictator or an earthly court, can take that away.
This is an issue over who we are as Americans and whether or not our Constitution belongs to everybody. You are all in danger. Born in these United States, born in Colombia like my mother, born in the Dominican Republic like my father, we are all under attack.
Thank you very much, Congressman Nancy Pelosi. Chair of the Hispanic Caucus. Thank you very much, Grace Ming, Chair of the Asian Pacific Caucus, and so many of our other colleagues are here. But thank you, CASA, for bringing us together. When Delia put out the signal that we should all be here, of course, we all showed up and to hear all of these stories. But let me just say a couple things in addition to associating myself with the remarks of our colleagues. First of all, the current occupant of the White House from time to time has said America is stupid to support the 14th Amendment. America is stupid. No, Mr. President, America isn't stupid. It's the Constitution of the United States, which all of us in elective office take an oath to protect and defend. But I want to read it to you. Jamie Radskin, as usual, was very brilliant in saying the first sentence, but I'm going to say the rest. All persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and the state wherein they reside. No state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privileges of immunities of citizens of the United States. Now this is important because this is what's going on in the court as well. Nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of the law, nor deny any person within its jurisdiction the equal protections of the law. So this is about birthright, it's about citizenship, it's about due process and private protection. Now, when Linda spoke earlier, she talked about her mom, and Delia spoke about her parents. I just want to say something about parents, because on at least two occasions in the House of Representatives, we passed the DREAM Act. It couldn't get through the Senate, but we will continue to make that fight. But every time we talk about the DREAM Act, either in Congress or outside, we thank the parents for their courage of bringing those children to America. They are the gold standard. So all of the immigration issues are important to us, some very specifically that the Republicans have made an assault on. The fact is that we can just do so much in the Congress, and we're committed to do that. The outside mobilization is very, very important. Know your power in this. Jamie quoted Thomas Paine in that very well-known phrase. I'm going to quote him as well. And Jamie knows this because he's taught it to us. Thomas Paine said, "The times have found us. They found the revolutionaries to establish our country. Well, the times have found us to protect our Constitution." Thank you all for your mobilization outside as this continues and grows. But we don't have a president of the United States to say America is stupid because we honor the childrenhood. For the children, si se pueda. Si se puede. 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 Si se puede.
We must be honoring and protecting the Constitution at every corner. But that this administration is attempting to overthrow the Constitution that says that if you are born in this country, you are a United States citizen, period. 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 And today, as the first Latina in Congress from the Midwest, I also proudly tell you that I am a birthright citizen. When I was born, and they raised me to fight for justice, to speak truth to power, and to see our shared humanity. Today I stand before the Supreme Court as their daughter and as a Latina, a Guatemalan and American. And I stand with all of you and my colleagues, the champions of justice, those that stand with our immigrants today, tomorrow, every single day. I want to thank the chair of the Congressional Hispanic Caucus, Adriano Espaillat, who is here with me today, who is also a proud immigrant, who stands every day fighting and on the line with all of us here today. But you see many other Congress members that are here, from Sylvia Garcia, from Luz in California, Rob Menendez holding it down in New Jersey. today, what we want to say is clear. We introduced legislation that we shouldn't have to introduce. Because you and I both already know that if you're born in this country, you are a United States citizen, and the 14th Amendment has affirmed that. But in a time as the Supreme Court is hearing oral arguments, hearing if in fact Donald Trump can use executive order to overturn the Constitution, we stand here today and say we have legislation that affirms that if you are born in this country, you're a United States citizen. The legislation also says a second part that's very important. It prohibits funds by this Congress to be authorized to execute and implement his terrible, unconstitutional executive order of taking birthrights from citizens. This is why we are here today, and this is why with organizers, with leaders, with immigrants who unapologetically sometimes stand here because our moms can't be here, you know. Some of our families are afraid and have not left their home since this man became president. But Speaker Pelosi and every single person that is here will stand with courage and stand with them and speak truth to power. So thank you for being here. Thank you for speaking truth to power. And thank you for upholding the Constitution with our bill that says, born in the USA. That is our act.
Watch your hat.
Sí se puede, sí se puede, sí se puede, sí se puede, sí se puede.
With that, it is my honor to bring to you one of our movers and shakers who has been defending the Constitution every breathing moment, my colleague, Congressman Jamie Raskin.
Good afternoon, everybody. I want to start with the basics. An executive order does not trump federal law. An executive order does not trump the Constitution of the United States of America. The Constitution is superior to an executive order. The Constitution trumps Trump. We're winning every day in court, my friends. There have been more than 250 cases filed against the lawlessness and the authoritarianism of the Trump administration. We have 154 temporary restraining orders and preliminary injunctions against this lawlessness. But one of their first executive orders purported to overthrow the very first sentence of the 14th Amendment, which says, all persons born or naturalized in the United States are and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. We've had four district courts that have struck down Donald Trump's executive order. Two of them were judges appointed by Democrats, one by Obama, one by Biden. We've had two of them appointed by Republicans who struck down the executive order, one appointed by Bush and one appointed by Reagan. The Reagan-appointed judge said this was the most unconstitutional executive order he'd ever seen. You don't need to be a lawyer to understand what's wrong with it. You just have to know how to read, okay? All persons born in America are citizens of America, and that was tested in the Supreme Court 30 years after the 14th Amendment was adopted in 1868. In 1898, somebody tried to do what Donald Trump is trying to do, and to deny citizenship based on parentage or race or ethnicity. The Supreme Court rejected it in one mark and declared everybody born in America is a citizen of the United States. And this is not only the Constitution, this is federal law too. Congress has codified it and put it into statute. So Congress, even if the 14th Amendment didn't exist, which of course it does, but even if they were able to wave their authoritarian magic wand and disappear it, Congress has legislated everybody born in the United States is a citizen of the United States. That's our law. So I'm just asking everybody to hang tough with judicial independence, support the judges and the courts who are standing up for the rule of law every day in America, and standing up for the Constitution. I'll close with the words of Tom Paine, who fell in love when he came over to America in 1774. He fell in love with the promise of this country. He said, if we live up to our ideals, we will become an asylum to humanity. He said, not an insane asylum, okay? A place of refuge for people seeking freedom from religious and political persecution from all over the world. And Paine said, in 1776, he wrote a beautiful pamphlet about the crisis of the country, and he said this, my friend Nancy Pelosi makes me update the language, says Tom Paine was a feminist, he wouldn't care. He said this, he said, these are the times that try men and women's souls. The summer soldier and the sunshine patriot will shrink at this moment from the service of their cause and their country, but everyone that stands with us now will win the love and favor and affection of every man and every woman for all time. Tyranny, like hell, is not easily conquered, but we have this saving consolation. The more difficult the struggle, the more glorious in the end will be our victory. Let's make that victory ours.
Thank you, CASA, for leading the way. Thank you, Congresswoman Delia Ramirez, for your legislation. Trump wants to assault the Constitution. The Constitution is an elastic document that in times of trouble, in times when everything goes bad, we could always resort to the Constitution for protection. It ended the Civil War. It ended slavery. The Constitution gave women the right to vote. The Constitution gave young people 18 years old the ability to choose a president. While they were sent to war and they couldn't vote, they now are able to vote. And Trump wants to assault the Constitution and in essence create a constitutional civil war where you have states, almost Confederate states, that will disallow people born in this land the ability to the rights and privileges extended to every citizen. And states, union states, that will protect children, all children, no matter who you are, no matter what race you are, no matter what ethnicity, what God you pray to. If you are a child born in the United States, you have the ability to be protected by the rights and privileges extended by the Constitution. So he wants to fracture our republic. He wants to assault the sacred document of the Constitution. And that's why we're here in the Supreme Court, to tell the Supreme Court that we should not give him the ability to create a constitutional civil war.
No!
After 150 years, Trump is attempting to alter our fundamental rights and values and the victories of the civil rights movement.
Right.
So we are here, as we have been historically. When everything else fails, we come to the steps of the U.S. Supreme Court and ask for fairness. We come and ask for justice.
That's right.
We come and we ask for a shot for all kids.
That's right.
To be equal under the law.
Woo!
Estamos aquí porque el presidente quiere desatar una guerra civil constitucional, donde van a haber estados que van a proteger a todos los niños y estados que van a tratar de expulsarlo del país, aún nacidos aquí. Y por tal razón estamos aquí defendiendo la Constitución para asegurar que ese documento elástico que terminó la guerra civil y eliminó la esclavitud, que le dio el derecho a la mujer para votar, a los jóvenes de 18 años o más para votar, se le extienda a todos los niños nacidos en este país. Hacia adelante.
Eso.
We will not go back.
No.
We will continue to move forward. And with that, I know the title of this legislation is Born in the USA. So I want you to all sing with me. Born in the USA.